As a brand, I've always loved Marriott. Pitch me if you were going to pitch to a hotel owner today. What would the pitch for Postcard be?
I think Marriott has the network and the loyalty program, and Postcard has the experiential transformational stake. I may even say so much so that where there is a Marriott, it's very difficult for Postcard to go, and where there is a Postcard, it's very difficult for Marriott to go. There's been an Oyo, there's been a Trebo, there's been a Fab, but in the luxury or the uber luxury hotel space, as I call it, there's been no brand. The last one was 1986. A visionary called Captain Nair decided to do Leela Hotels, did an amazing job building hotels. So we said 18 years, 32 years later, it's a great space to be. There's nobody. There's no competition. Let's start it. It is most expensive hotel brand. The average room rate is 32,092 year to date across all properties. That's double that of anybody else. In spite of that, travelers are ranking it at 9.6, which is higher than any global brand.
Shifting gears to EasyDiner now.
When I walked out of my job at Oberoi, we had only 10 crores in our bank account at EasyDiner. It was bleeding, I think, 1.5 crores a month. If you go to EasyDiner, we did a big award and I got everybody on the stage and I said, how long have we all worked together? And at EasyDiner, it's 10 years, 12 years, 18 years, 20 years. We've been 20 years together and now we are together at EasyDiner.
With this love for share markets and numbers, how does your capital allocation work in real life? Hello and welcome everyone to the India Opportunity Show. I'm your host Shrishti, and today I'm joined by an exceptional hotelier and entrepreneur, Mr. Kapil Chopra. He built his reputation leading Oberoi Hotels as its president, where under his leadership, the Oberoi brand became so successful that it doubled its profitability in a single year. And if anyone thought that that was the peak of his career success, he walked away from that to chase even bigger dreams. He then launched the Postcard Hotel to show the world what Indian luxury hospitality can really do. No buffets, no check-in timings, just true immersion in local nature and cuisine. Authentic experiences that are deep-rooted in local culture. He also co-founded EasyDiner, where the biggest success for him has been the wealth creation he's enabled for each stakeholder involved. What makes Kapil unique is that he's not just a hotelier. He's a market thinker and a passionate entrepreneur and a true patriot who thinks that Indian brands deserve a global stage. In this conversation, we talk about how to build world-class global brands from India, as well as his love for the stock market and what he learned from the listed companies in the hospitality space. We talk about walking away from the peak of career success and venturing out into the unknown and uncertain. Hope you enjoy watching. This is a true masterclass for anyone evaluating leaving their corporate roles and taking the plunge on the entrepreneurial side. Kapil shows us how it can be achieved and done in a beautiful way. Hope you enjoy watching. Hi Kapil, welcome to the India Opportunity Show.
Thank you, Srishti. Thank you for having me here.
It's a privilege to host you here today.
It's a privilege to be here today. I've seen some of the luminaries before me, and I think they accomplished a lot, much more than I would actually. So it's absolutely, I'm delighted to be here today.
You're too humble, but we do have a shared love for hospitality and stock markets. What do you want to start with first?
I think it's your call, it's your show, so you decide.
So, I think hospitality, let's do that because, that is a segment I've never done a deep dive on the show before. So you are my first hospitality guest.
Thank you.
And, I come from a family background which owns hotels. And as a brand, I've always loved Marriott. And, as a Marriott owner, I wanted to ask you to pitch me if you were going to pitch to a hotel owner today. What would the pitch for Postcard be?
I think two very distinctly different brands, really. And I think Marriott has the network and the loyalty program, and Postcard has the experiential transformational stake. So I think totally two different brands. But I may even say so much so that where there is a Marriott, it's very difficult for Postcard to go. And where there is a Postcard, it's very difficult for Marriott to go. Right. So I think two very different lines. And I think from an owner's perspective, it is where are you in your journey to be partnering with a transformative luxury hotel brand like the Postcard Hotel? And what's the location that you have? Let me give you an example. When you run a multi-brand company like Marriott or Hilton or Accor, absolutely great companies, but they have multiple brands. Postcard's a singular hotel brand company. So when we go to a site, we say yes or no. There is not that, no for this, but yes for this.
Right.
So Postcard's just one. It's either a yes or a no. And also the fact that we're trying to bring in a different wave of hospitality. But, you've got to give it to Marriott. Just think about it. It's a North American brand And today it is the leading brand in the country, amongst all multi-brand hotel brands. So what an absolutely amazing job. And what happened to Indian hotel brands about opening in Europe or North America? What a missed opportunity. Let's come closer home. Why not even Sri Lanka? Do we have many hotels in Sri Lanka or even Nepal or Bhutan? Let's go away a bit from South Asia. Let's go to where the world goes, Thailand. How many Indian hotel brands? Maldives. How many do we have? So I think absolutely amazing opportunities for Indian brands actually to go there. From an owner's perspective, I think because of our operating profit margins that we operate and the owners tend to gain a lot. And more than that, Srishti, I think where we will get you in as an owner, if you have the right site, is one very simple concept that we go all in. And when we say we go all in, what do hotel companies operate on? They operate on a management contract. So let's assume when COVID happened, all the owners died. The brands were still okay. Of course, their fees came down, but they were taking 2% of top line, 10% of bottom line, whatever the contract was. But that's about it. So they sold one coffee, they still took that money, but the owner was down deep in the red. So Postcard goes into a property with two options saying, what do you want to do? Do you want to do management contract or do you want to do a revenue share lease? What do you really want to do? And you decide. When I do a revenue share lease, then I'm taking an absolutely great risk. So I have a hotel in Goa called the Postcard Hideaway Nethruvali, which is 20 rooms in 20 acres. I can tell you any brand going there would have first of all said no, but we just loved it. We just loved the fact that Goa has two parts, beaches and a phenomenal amount of biodiversity and the Western Ghats really coming in there. So we said, let's open in the forest. Let's open in the forest. And people go to the beach, Goa for the beaches and the parties and whatever. Now, this place is 1 hour away from the closest west one. It's doing phenomenally well. But we would like a place like that. And that's what we would do. And what do we have there? We have a revenue share lease contract. So in a 20-room hotel, by the time I get you your first cup of coffee, I'm 30 lakhs down. Day one. So that's phenomenal amount of skin in the game.
Yeah.
Because assume if I do not do my diligence right, or if I'm not confident of selling the destination, then maybe in 5 years, I may walk out with 7, 8, 10 crores of losses. The owner's asset would still appreciate because real estate and land in India appreciates, correct? So I would lose everything and I would have to write it off while the owner would not have to. So that's the promise. So, and we allow the owner to choose before they sign the contract, whether they want a management contract or whether they want a revenue share contract.
Amazing. So, the reason why I asked is because a lot of family offices, HNIs, promoters, and investors watch this show, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of them might not understand the nuances of, how revenue sharing works or management contracts work even.
Exactly.
How did you arrive at this model? And this is very high skin in the game, right?
This is phenomenally high skin in the game. But again, the idea was that, I'll give you a real example. So we have a beautiful hotel, 0 meters from the sea, where the government of Karnataka, kind of put in a legal case on us that you're too close to the sea. We went to Supreme Court. It was built before 1991. That's India's only hotel, 0 meters from the sea with a near private beach. There's absolutely nobody on the beach, white sand. We've been cleaning the beach for 5 years. It's unreal. Think of it as Maldives on the mainland, but with even better food than Maldives, because the food from Mangalore, the entire Konkan district, extending all the way to Bangalore, is absolutely amazing food. You just can't go wrong there with food. It means even on the roadside, the food.
Yeah.
So now if I had to get a chef from there, now the chef comes from Louis Vuitton, 2-star Michelin, before that another Michelin star, before that Oberoi Hotels. So great career in a 9-room hotel, isolated on the sea, on a place called Kundapur, which nobody had heard of, but has won the best hotel brand twice over in the World Travel Awards in Dubai and Burj Al Arab, in Madeira in Portugal. But it's a 9-room hotel. So if it was a management contract, the owner would come to me and say, why do we need to hire such an expensive chef?
Yeah.
But you name the best global fund managers in the world. Yeah. Means I think he's posted it, so I can say Ruchir Sharma.
Yeah.
Been there. He's one of the very few opening guests. But you name the best corporates in India, top maybe Fortune 5. Okay. Means pretty much everybody's been there. That hotel is absolutely stunning. It's amazing. But if I have to put a chef of that caliber, or even management of that caliber, even the manager, the resort manager, the housekeeper, everybody's world class. If I have to put in world class people, then in a management contract, the other person may still have some doubts. So our idea is, just don't worry about it. That's our problem. Whether it makes money or it doesn't make money, we are confident it will make money. From my Can I tell you another secret? We don't have annual budgets at the company. We just don't have annual budgets.
Okay.
Because when you're making, you're launching a rocket. A brand is launching a rocket. Think about hotels. Think about luxury hotels for 1 second. In India, since 1986, nobody's launched a luxury hotel brand.
Yeah.
Now let's look at the other spaces. There's been an Oyo, there's been a Tribo, there's been a Fab, there's been a Sarovar, there's been a Lemon Tree. There's been a Justa. I can go on and on.
Yeah.
But in the luxury or the uber luxury hotel space, as I call it, there's been no brand. The last one was 1986. A visionary called Captain Nair decided to do Leela Hotels, did an amazing job building hotels. So for 32 years in this country of affluence or the new rich or the HNIs as we call them, nobody even dared to do a new hotel brand. Everybody decided to put a brand up on their building and kind of run it. So we said 18 years, 22 years later, it's a great space to be. There's nobody. There's absolutely no crowd. Where's all the
Competition.
There's no competition. Let's start it.
Yeah.
And I think, I think that is the real challenge, if you really ask me, Shrishti. Building a luxury hotel brand, and you cannot have a playbook for building it.
Yeah.
So let's say if I give my general manager an annual budget, then means he may just take the wrong profile into the hotel. And you just, at that level of business, you just have to be very, very particular about prioritizing what is the community of people you get into the hotel. And what are the filters to get that community of people into the hotel? So everybody has a great holiday.
Right.
And I think, and it's a constant task. I mean, just think about it, and that the postcard is at 9.6 on booking.com on traveler reviews. It's India's most expensive hotel brand. The average room rate is 32,092 year to date across all properties. That's double that of anybody else. In spite of that, travelers are ranking it at 9.6, which is higher than any global brand. Globally, means even Aman, I think, is at 9.3, Marriott Oriental is 9.4. Closer to home, I think Oberoi is at 9.2 as a chain score. So I think, building that really requires a very different playbook. Not to say that we are financially not focused, because I realized the other part, Shrishti, coming onto the finance part of your podcast, was that think about everybody who's tried to build a luxury hotel brand, a bit like the airlines, is actually either has had to sell.
Right, I was just going to say that maybe no one launched a brand because the perception is that hotels take a long time to become profitable, right?
And anybody who tries a very visionary approach actually goes down. And I'll give you an example. I'll back it up with examples. Look at Aman Resorts. Adrian Zek said, design is everything. Yeah. Lost the brand. Yeah. Then Sonu Shivdasani with Six Senses said, wellness is everything. Brand is owned by IHG now. Then Saul Kressner, for one and only, said lifestyle is everything. Lost the brand. Yeah. Closer to home, Brookfield now owns Leela. Yeah. Closer to home, Reliance is the biggest shareholder at Oberoi Hotels. Yeah. Single largest shareholder. So I think there is a very different way this playbook has to be played. And I kind of learned it along the way. I didn't structure it this way, but I knew one thing for sure. And the idea was I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And this is, extending up to 2007, 2008. I actually, in 2007, I thought of a name called Insignia Hotels, which is still used. Okay. So I called it Insignia Hotels. Insignia is the mark of luxury. It's a nice name.
Now Inox uses it.
So I know. So actually I lost the domain Insignia Hotels also, which just expired. Okay. So Hilton has something called Signia Hotels. I think they could not get Insignia. Yeah. So there's something called Signia Hotels. So but you never had the money, so I kind of learned along the way, but I was talking to be an entrepreneur for 10 years before I did it. And I think in 2016, 17, the seminal moment really came. And we traveled for two reasons. We traveled for work or we traveled for leisure. And I looked at the world of leisure, it did not have any global leadership. Yeah. And I realized that maybe if we do it right, maybe this is a once in a lifetime opportunity that we take global leadership in leisure. Because in the world of business, Bill Marriott is still in charge of Marriott. When I started Postcard, Mr. Oberoi was very much at the helm of Oberoi Hotels. Isan Sharp, during my tenure was very much at the helm of Four Seasons, no longer though. So I realized that, a founder's personality is extremely important to building a hotel brand.
Yeah, to your point, like I was at St. Regis recently and Bill Marriott was there with Raj Menon doing his morning walk inside the breakfast place and, still so deeply involved, which I really admired.
Yes.
But coming back to profitability, Kapil, because, a lot of people have had this perception and there's a reason why these brands got sold off or, were acquired by different private equity funds. What do you think you've been able to do differently to be able to get to profitability quickly?
So I think I was very clear. So, and there is history there, Srishti. I think I got very lucky with EasyDiner because we started EasyDiner in 2014. Yeah. So I, as in a non-executive position that time, when I quit in 2018, I came on full-time on EasyDiner.
Right.
But again, I think I had I had the luxury of knowing how capital is allocated, raised, spent, and how a term sheet's negotiated.
Right.
So I had that experience. So by the time I would raise the first check for Postcard, I was very clear on how I would structure it. But again, because I'm a very big believer in stalking a goal, like you kind of set up a goal. I read a book called The Jungle Rules by John Imlay, which basically talks about, the art of stalking. And, if you're stalking a goal, what is the goal and how do you do that? And it's basically the story of Dun & Bradstreet's software, which kind of came into profitability for bankruptcy. And he only talks about the journey of a tiger. And a tiger can walk 5 miles without losing sight of its prey. So I kind of always thought of it that, I'll put in a goal in my own head and I'll always stalk it. So I was always stalking this opportunity and basically, so I could read what went wrong in Amman. I could see that the big bet on Sonevakiri for an inspirational hotelier like Sonu would stress the balance sheet immensely. So I realized that maybe I need to structure it very differently. So I think a lot of people credit us for service innovation with anytime check-in, check-out, and anytime breakfast. On product innovation with 800 feet rooms and, kind of changing the game. But a very few people know that basically, I think our real innovation came in the way we kind of financed it. Till date, continue to do so. And the fact that one of the key underlying principles in the luxury, and if Postcard ever goes down or whatever, or I have to sell it, I think it will be because greed got better of us, really. I think so, yeah. So you have to keep your greed in check because every single day you will see an absolutely amazing opportunity. I saw a great fort somewhere in Rajasthan. Absolutely amazing. It's so good that I want to sell my house and buy it. You can't do that. Everything is a great opportunity because the first opportunity comes to you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So you have to be disciplined. It's the, like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger used to say, the game is waiting. The game is not buying or selling. The game is wait.
I love that you got Buffett and Munger here also. We talked to us about the balance sheet innovation, right? Because most hotel companies operate with very heavy capex and then, they end up distressing their balance sheet at the end of the day. How have you maintained that?
So I think two very simple things. So again, because I had, I had the advantage of hindsight. I had seen what people had done. I had maybe the distinct advantage of having a ringside view of India's luxury hospitality company at Oberoi. Yeah? So I had a complete view and I knew how it was, what decisions lead to what consequences. So due to which I could really draw it out from the scratch. And also I did not have, the burden of, if I may say, assets which were not profitable. I could churn out my assets faster. I could be very diligent on saying this place is ready, this place is not ready. So even today, Srishti, we do a feasibility of a destination and that feasibility can completely disagree with me to say, Kapil, I know you're really bullish on this, but it's not going to work. And there's always a phenomenal amount of discussion, like Kundapur, like nobody had heard of it. I hadn't heard of it. Till we bought this.
Where is it?
Kundapur is 1 hour 45 minutes away from Mangalore International Airport. Okay. This is where the private beach, the Postcard on the AC, which is pretty much the most viral hotel that everybody talks about today in this country is there. And we kind of put it on the map. And when we went to Kundapur, then we realized on an EasyDiner game, there is a place called Shetty's Lunch Home, which does the ghee roast chicken. And Srishti, if you want to eat the ghee roast chicken for lunch, you stand in line for 2 hours. You won't get a table. So I said, if EasyDiner has to come, it has to come here to get those priority tables in because it's a 2-hour waiting, which no restaurant in India has. But Shetty's Lunch Home in Kundapur, in Trasi, in Udupi, in coastal Karnataka has it. So I think it's absolutely amazing about the magic of India. But I honestly think, so we kind of structured it in a way we said we're going to keep operating company and property company separate. We're only going to go for destinations which we are very confident of. But we will take a risk with every single destination. Gir, People used to ask me, does India have lions? I said, 1,000.
Yeah.
India has 1,000 lions. Okay, how do you get to Ghee? Yeah. And then Assam, Northeast, only super luxury hotel. And look at the average room rate, 33,000 rupees a night today. You just can't get in. So I think, but again, beautiful tea gardens. Imagine if the entire city of Gurgaon became a tea garden. It's 1,400 acres of tea garden. So whenever you wake up, you see a tea garden. It's absolutely stunning. So how do you go wrong with that? And it's got 5 national parks, including Kaziranga, 1 hour away. It's got the mighty Brahmaputra 1 hour away. How do you go wrong with that?
Yeah.
How do you go wrong with a private beach and on 0 meters from the high tide line? How do you go wrong? How do you go wrong with lions? People want to see lions. Maybe they did not get the opportunity because there were no great hotels there. So I think, so one was very, very conscious calls. There were very conscious calls, Shrishti, on where any brand would have taken the hotel. I can actually take name, but it's not right. But any brand could have taken the hotel, and we said, no, this is not going to work. There were very conscious calls on, just leaving some projects. And I've known brands have come in and taken those projects. Best of luck to them. But we were always very clear. We are playing this game for the long haul. In our opinion, Srishti, we don't have an exit strategy. And in our opinion, we are building what I call an intergenerational company. So the company has to outlast me by hundreds of years, maybe. So when you're building and you have a focus for building for 20 years or 25 years or 30 years, how does a year matter? How does a hotel matter? You've just got to say, I'm going to build exceptional. We're going to build world class. We're going to put India on the global hospitality map. And so it has to be diligent. So the operating company is totally separate. The operating company cannot own a hotel. It just cannot. It is written in the charter of the company.
Yeah.
But we made one thing, but I'll come to it because it is very natural.
Yeah.
And the property company, which could be our own, which could be other people, which could be me personally, can own hotels or assets. But the Postcard operating company will walk away. But we did one thing where we could not get something in Leh, where the Postcard operating company actually owns that hotel.
Okay.
Everybody keeps on telling me, you are not allowed to do that again. Okay. And
that was one exception.
Yeah, we did one, and it was not right, honestly. But I really wanted to do a great hotel in Leh because I think it's the roof of the world.
Yeah.
And it needed an absolutely amazing hotel. So we did it all suites. 13.5 acre land parcel in Leh, which nobody else has. People have 1 acre, half acre, whatever. World class means it's a world class hotel. 800 square feet rooms, all suites, totally heated. It could be minus 22 outside. It's plus 24 inside. You can sit on a t-shirt. So we kind of did it. Huge risk, but yeah, we did that one. And after that, I told them, I said, okay, next time I try and do it, you just veto me out.
One side effect of this podcast, I can already see. I'm already thinking about my next holiday. And hopefully it'll be a Postcard Hotel. But, I also want to appreciate the fact that you actually think like a fund manager. Because I heard you say that, you want $1 billion under assets under management.
Actually, it was not my idea. So, I was Shailendra from Peak 15. He was at our office and he was listening to the story of Postcard. And he says, everybody's talking about it in Singapore, everywhere. And I said, thank you and whatever. And we're talking about it. He's saying, Kapil, have you ever thought that you're actually a fund? And I said, no, I've never thought of it that way. He says, think about it. Because today, and it's so right when you kind of look at it, I think we have today, what, $500 million of assets that we manage. And the assets are locked in for 25 years. We don't sign any contract below 25 years. So if you want to sign for 20 years, we'll get away from the meeting because we have a phenomenal amount of long-term vision on the brand. And I'll give you 2 examples for that. Look at Bhutan. When COVID happened, Bhutan shut its gates. His Majesty was very clear that nobody will die in Bhutan. Let business suffer. That's okay. For 2.5 years, even I could not enter Bhutan.
And you were constructing a hotel there?
No, we already built it. It was operating.
Oh, okay.
It was operating.
Okay.
Every single brand in Bhutan shut their hotels down. Only one hotel stayed open, the Postcard paper. Only one hotel. 95 square meter rooms, super luxury, empty. Okay. Nobody could come because the country was shut. So only the locals could come, and how many times would they come? So only one hotel stayed open. We somehow survived for 2.5 years. We did not lay off one single person as a new brand. It was the second year, of
how did you sustain that?
We were
Sounds unrealistic.
No, but even, and that's a very good question because even when I'll give you an example. When I projected for Assam, let me share Assam's example. I said, we will do 25% occupancy at 18,000 rupees average room rate. And everybody said, but that's 3 times the average room rate of every hotel in Assam. on a year-to-date basis. The top brands in Assam operate at 6,000 to 6,500. We said, but no, none of them is in the tea gardens. We are in the tea gardens, so we will operate at 18. We kept 18. Assam's at 33. And Assam, even in the first year, is at around 45-48% occupancy. I think by the time we end the year, it'll go much higher. Yeah. So when you budget so conservatively, so I tell my team, whenever we are budgeting and we are looking at a site, budget like a way that we are the worst guys in the world on selling and marketing and whatever, because these are very challenging destinations. Yeah. Did I, expect the success of Assam? The answer is, it surprised me. It surprised me. The rates are unreal. The guest feedback is unreal. The demand is unreal. So it's fantastic. I'm very pleasantly surprised. But if I did not achieve my average room rate at which I need to operate, because smaller hotels need a lot of fiscal discipline. I can't start selling at 10,000 rupees. You'll never make money.
Yeah.
So you have to have a lot of fiscal discipline, a lot of focus on the destination. So I can sustain that. So internally, every time I sign a hotel, I kind of mentally put in 3 years away and say, it's not going to happen. But Shrishti, can I tell you a very interesting fact? 11 hotels, I have been profitable month one in every single hotel.
Wow.
Every single hotel.
That's truly incredible.
But again, we are very well prepared. I tell people, we may not be smarter than you, we may not have more money than you, but we will outwork you. We will completely outwork you. We are on it. We are opening Chitwan. Chitwan doesn't have a luxury hotel on the river. It's stunning. You will actually, the entire pool is infinity, and the river in Chitwan in Nepal is so beautiful that you can actually put your hand in and pick up a stone. No motorboats are allowed. It's the first time in my life I've seen a totally clear river. Like clear, like crystal clear, like you can drink, as clear as drinking water. It's unreal. And just across, from the boat, you will cross to the national park. And the rhinoceroses come pretty much to the hotel.
Wow.
So we're doing that. So we're already preparing for it. How will we get traffic to Chitwan? So there are already international fans which are being planned in February to come and see the site. Site inspections have already started. The hotel is still being constructed. Same in Javai at the Leopard Reserve that we are opening. There is one great luxury hotel in Javai already. So we are opening there at a different price point, and we're saying, okay, how do we tell people that the best leopard sightings are in Javai, that you've never seen a national park like that because it's only rocks. Yeah. So but that thought process on selling starts 6 months out, really. So even before we open 2 hotels in Goa, there's 2 more in Goa. This November, or one in November, one in December, we already sold out for New Year's, both the hotels.
Right. But given that you try to get world-class talent, and you mentioned the chef example, the fixed cost must be pretty high in my experience, right? Because I remember through COVID, like we had a really hard time dealing with the crisis, right? And it was like literally business was zero overnight. And just navigating that took us so long.
Yeah.
Do you have any KPIs or metrics that you look at, like occupancy rates and like revenue per room?
So
How do you look at it?
So very simple. So a Postcard hotel needs to break even at 20% occupancy.
20%?
20%. If it doesn't break even at 20, with variable and fixed costs all included, if it doesn't break even at 20, we don't do it. Simple.
How do you achieve that for 20-room hotels?
I think we have we've had a history of 7 to 8 years of working on this entire concept before we launched it. We are extremely paranoid that we're going to go down. So we are so clear. Means I can tell you, I have a lovely owner in Kana, and I think they spoke to our development team, and our development team said, no, Kana can't make it. Okay, they said, dude, this is the best jungle in India. What do you mean it can't make it? And then Vinita, who's my owner in Kana, called up one of my teachers who taught me when I was at the Oberoi School, and he was doing facility planning. She said, I really need to speak to him. And she called me, and I said, listen, Vinita, I'm not too sure, but I'll run feasibility again, because COVID's happened, the world has changed. And I think the first call was, I think, slightly before COVID, and the second one was post-COVID. And we basically did the numbers again, and we said, yeah, there's a lot of interest in Kana, and I think, again, no world-class hotels. Build a world-class hotel. Madhya Pradesh is the hub of wildlife tourism in this country. Let's build it. And so we came in. It was 35-acre site, and we only did 14 rooms. Okay, and the minimum room size is 1,400 square feet. How do you beat us? Means, the point is, if even if you are basically affluent, not even super affluent, you'll say, let me spend 35,000, 40,000 bucks, live in style. Let me take 1 holiday instead of 2.
Yeah.
Let me just do it properly. Yeah. And so our point of view is, we started building, and we're building an absolutely amazing hotel. And then there's a lot of work with architecture and everything. But that hotel will also break even I think once we start doing 4 rooms, maybe 3 rooms, we'll break even at that point.
Amazing. And why should the Indian population go to Masai Mara every time, right? Like
Listen, but I think, what thinks about it. Think about it, Shrishti, very good point. That there are 2 places in the world that you can watch wildlife. I know you can do it in Australia too, but really 2 places, South Africa and India.
Yeah.
Why does South Africa have Singita and why can't India have a Singita equivalent?
Yeah, I've always thought about that.
Why not?
Yeah.
Because we don't want to. 1, we're not ambitious enough. 2, 3, we do not have a long-term vision of building it for the next 10, 20 years. 4, we are not disrupting the normal landscape. We will say, okay, we'll do a hotel in Ranthambore. Like, look at Ranthambore today. It is getting these 100 rooms, 150 room hotels. What happened to the wildlife? They will do weddings. The wildlife will run away. There'll be no tigers. Okay. So you have to, but again, that's where the government, do you go to Masai Mara and do you have an 800 room hotel in the middle of Masai Mara?
No. There are beautiful lodges and
I think a lot comes to us, and that's why in Goa, when we did Goa, we said we're not going to do this monstrous, ugly, I'll build 200 rooms in 2 acres, and everybody's feeling happy about it. And the government is feeling happy with getting hotel rooms.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous. We should not allow it.
So you're not chasing the number of rooms.
So even if you ask me how many number of rooms you operate, I'll never answer that question. And the answer to that is very simple. And the answer is, what's more valuable? If I give you 2 choices today, Shrishti, and I say, do you want to buy 1 kg of gold, or I'll give you 1,000 kgs of cow dung? What would you like? First of all, 1,000 kgs of cow dung is very difficult to store. Yeah. Okay. Then I'm not sure if it's equally valuable as much as 1 kg of gold. So what do you want really? So, luxury is also about scarcity to some angle.
Of course.
Yeah. If you want to open an Ames, then Ames really can't have 500 stores in India. Cannot. Not because it cannot, but the point is there are not 500 destinations in India where an Ames can open.
Yes.
Yeah, but if you want to open up a different Kirana kind of a store, then maybe you can open 5,000.
Similar to what Rolex does, right? Like you were on the wait list for 12 months.
No, we don't do that. We welcome you in the moment you book.
Yes.
But the point is, you cannot, luxury is also about, because it's so luxurious, the product or whatever, you have to think it through. I think it's a labor of love.
Yeah.
So you have to really think it through. No, we're not trying to be pretentious or trying to make a point, but what we're trying to say is, it just can't be. I have a 35-acre site. Why don't I do a 350-room acre in hotel in Kana? We'll ruin the destination. I don't want to ruin the destination. We don't want our legacy to be seen as these guys came and messed up everything just for money. Because money is just a byproduct. If you do the right things, if you love what you do, money will come automatically. We've kind of proven it.
And I heard you also say that, will Elon Musk come and stay at this property is my filter. Is that true?
No, not really. No, that was just a comment that because they asked me like, who are you building for? And I was reading Elon Musk that time. I still read a lot. I'm reading Jeff Bezos's letters to shareholders right now.
Oh, I love it.
I love that. Yeah. Fantastic book.
Yeah.
And I think I'm more inspired by Jeff than I'm by Elon. I'm inspired by both really. But I think it was Jeff Bezos's minimization regret theory which made me resign completely.
Yeah, I used to ask our guests this question about regret minimization because I've often wondered, people at the age of 80, when you look back at your life, what do you want your legacy to be? And I think you figured that out, right?
No, it was not about legacy. I always wanted to do a brand. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I never had the money. Also, I had a very interesting call. So, Mr. Nandan Nilekani called me. I met him once when I was at Oberoi earlier, but he called me and we were talking regarding some hotel, just having a conversation. And he started, because he's so humble, he started introducing himself. He said, Kapil, I am Nandan. I said, sir, please, you're an inspiration.
Yeah.
You please don't introduce yourself. I know everything about you.
Yeah.
Okay. And I told him, I said, before we even start talking about anything that we are doing, he said, I believe the postcard's amazing. I said, thank you so much. Come and stay. Don't believe us. We are great storytellers. We are great salespeople. Just come and stay.
Really?
He said, okay. And I said, but before I even start talking on this call, I just want to thank you for one thing. You and Mr. Murthy, really. And the fact was, Shrishti, both of them and the 5 founders at Infosys really made a generation of entrepreneurs like me believe that intellectual capital will always be bigger than legacy capital. And that is what we've been trying to prove. Think about the fact that India, when I compete today, or you look at other hotel chains around me, I don't have the 120-year legacy of what Taj has, or the balance sheet of the Tatas to fund that company. Or I don't have the 90-year-old history of what Oberoi has, or the balance sheet to fund me. Or I don't have the balance sheet of ITC Hotels, the 50 years that they've been working on this, or 40 years they've been working on this. I just don't have all of that. I'm just 7 years old. We are totally a new kid on the block. What we are saying is we are paying for the highest stake game in the market, the most affluent, and we'll create a different narrative. And we don't have any balance sheet like that. But we build a $500 million asset book with us, which is very difficult to replicate, because even if, let's say, tomorrow another conglomerate in India decides to do hotels, it takes 4 years to build a good hotel. Maybe 2 years if we build it, because we build really fast. But yeah, it still takes that much time with that much capital, and that's quite an allocation. And if so, nobody did it for 32 years. We're thinking people won't do it for another couple.
How do you build hotels in 2 years? Because my family took 6 years to complete.
So we built Lay in 11 months.
Wow.
So yeah, so our point is,
but accessibility, everything must have been so restricted.
Fantastic, because you can only move trucks for 4 months. So Marban had to go earlier. So it was a lot of planning. So we plan like crazy. We absolutely plan like crazy. We work with world-class architects globally. So, Luxury Frontiers, which is very famous globally, did the Amangiri in Utah, did Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince's luxury travel camp, I think is done by them. They're doing some absolutely amazing global. They did the Melbourne Elephant Lodge in Botswana, the Four Seasons in Aviva in Mexico. They're doing the Postcard in Ranthambore. They're doing the Postcard in Chikmagalur in 140 acres. We'll be doing a whole coffee estate. So whether it's Luxury Frontiers, whether it's getting Leg Bunag, I want to get him back. He did Trident Gurgaon with me when I was a young GM. Inspirational architect, only does 3 hotels a year. We want to get Leg Bag to maybe Jaisalmer and create an oasis in the desert. So we kind of think very different stuff. And I think we plan it to a very different extent. Because again, Shrishti, we don't have time. We don't have 90 years to build it. We'll all be dead pretty soon. So our point of view is that why don't we build, if you have to build really fast, if you have to challenge everything they told us, and I tell my team, everything that you've been told or you've been fed is incorrect. Now challenge it. Now challenge everything. Why does it have to be like this? Elon Musk built a whole car company out of nothing, build a whole rocket company out of nothing. Why can't we do it? Isn't he an absolutely amazing inspiration? So, Jeff Bezos is an amazing inspiration. Look at what he's built. So, I think everywhere around, you can see inspiration around you, everywhere. You just need to get inspired and kind of just change it. Just change the whole model, because I think the whole model is wrong. And we need to fix the whole model, whether it's construction, whether it's operating, whether it's building a company, whether it's, disrupting the landscape, or whether it is even distribution. How do you sell? How do you reach customers?
And this is truly first principles thinking, right? Because it's the way to achieve such greatness, honestly. But when you think about the attention to detail, even the tea you just gifted me, you want to compete with TWG, and you're literally going and trying to compete with some of the best brands in the world, and you're disrupting and thinking about each and every element that goes inside.
So I think it's more to do with the guest experience. I'll give you an example. So just think about it that let's talk about the bathroom for a bit, okay? Why do bathrooms have to be dingy? So we have one criteria in the newer hotels, until it's a historical asset where I can't change much, that natural light needs to come into the bathroom. Has to. Yeah. Why do bathroom, I've been to some of the best hotels in India and they have acrylic bathtubs. Why? Acrylic's a cheaper version. Why don't you do proper cast iron and an enamel, nicely done? There are enough brands doing that, but we are skimping there. Simple things like what happens in a bathroom. Let's say if you're a lady, if you're getting ready, there will be wet tissues that you'll be using. If you put in a wet tissue, it stinks after an hour after it dries. So why don't we have wet lining in our dustbins? So we are like we kind of think it through. Even when you are, why does a minibar have to be hidden under a TV cabinet? Why can't it be out in the open?
I wondered why.
Because nobody's thought of saying it's always there. So our minibars are out, they're never hidden. Okay, they're always out. Okay, why does the kettle have to be a 2,200 rupee kettle? Why can't it be a nice KitchenAid? Well, first of all, it looks good. 2, it boils water faster, evenly, nicely. So why don't we even do that? So we go down to that level of detailing. And when you go down to that level of detailing, then you also look at what's the tea that people are having. So today, if you talk to me about tea tourism globally, everybody will say Sri Lanka.
Yeah. In fact, I went there and stayed in Nuwara in a TS.
Yeah, exactly. Fantastic. But you haven't been to Assam or Darjeeling or done a whole circuit through Assam through 5 states because there are no hotels. Where will you go? Yeah. So the point is, we need to own tea. So our point was, which is a global brand in tea, which is fantastic. TWG. Let's go after it. So we are choosing, okay, which is a global brand, they're doing a great job. Let's learn from it. Let's make it better. So when you look at the tea and you look at The nuance is pretty much this tea is so fresh that most of it was on a plant 30 days back. So every 30 days, it's created again. Every 30 days, it's created again. But what does that mean? This means an average sachet of this tea is 4 times more expensive than the most expensive tea used by any hotel in this country. Although I'm sitting in Assam and sourcing it there. Imagine. In spite of that, yeah? So otherwise it will be 6 to 8 times more expensive. But that's the cost of doing business. So our experience has to be so good that, it kind of, bowls you over and you say, I really have to be there. And same as with wine. Why is Indian wine not as good as Bordeaux or Burgundy? Why? Okay, can it be, is the terroir there or not? I don't know. What can I do to make it better? First, let's start with the basics. A good quality wine needs to be harvested rightly, needs to have very good quality of grapes. So in 2019, we went to a winery and we said we want to buy your entire produce because that winery was doing a single varietal grape called Cabernet Sauvignon, which is a nice, deep, embodied grape. And so we bought that entire supply in 2019 because they said, listen, we need to age it for 6 to 9 months and then sell it. In India, wine is aged for 6 to 9 months. When you go to Bordeaux, they say, oh, it's so beautiful. Plus, look at how they're producing, how passionate they are, how passionate a small grower in Burgundy.
Multi-generational.
So again, it's a 100-year view of the business. So our point of view was, how will a good wine come in 6 months? We said, and the guy said, I'm not going to age it. So we said, okay, fine. What we will do is we'll age it 3 years in the barrel and maybe 2 years in the bottle. Let's just let it be. It's okay. And it should be ready for drinking. We'll release it in 2024. So we paid the money upfront, Shrishti. So out of the entire vineyard, we only got 200 bottles. Okay. And the production cost was 3,500. It's called Essence. The production cost was 3,500. We sold it at the hotels at, I think, 8,750. We've already sold 162 bottles. Only 38 are left. We have now kept that supply with us so that we can keep on releasing only 6 bottles every year. And we are buying this year's supply again. So all I'm trying to say is it's all there and there's demand. So you say, who is going to buy an Indian wine for 9,000 rupees? There were people, we had to restrict, sir, please don't take more than 1 bottle. We hardly have anything. Okay. So drink, but don't take it along with you. I mean, people were buying it because it's fantastic. Again, it's so beautiful. So and it's so nice and so dense that you need to air it for a good 30, 45 minutes before you start drinking it. You have to decant it, air it. So the whole experience is there.
You're building multiple consumer brands.
No, I'm not. And everybody's telling me, what are you doing? So what it's going to be a D2C fund also? It's not a D2C fund. See, all of them fit into the hotel, actually. So the whole point is, this tea is a way, because it's going to come onto Amazon, it's going to come onto Flipkart, it's going to come onto Blinkit, whatever. It's a way for me to reach your house. It's a way for me to reach you. I'm building a new distribution pipeline. I don't have 120 years to build it, or 100 or 90 or 50 or 40 years to build it. I'll be dead. So if I need to reach you faster, then I'm saying, God, the tea is so good. The hotels will be amazing too. Let's get them in. Yeah, maybe 10% people touch the brand, drink the wine. And so the wine also needs to go into retail. So that's the whole idea. So we've kind of played with that for a long time. We launched our own brand in wine called 2112, which makes a debut. And 2112 because we were looking at a wine hotel in December 21. And we had the glass of wine. We said, you know what, we should do our own wine. Okay. And it's just not labeling, we're involved in the production process, in the bottling process, every single process. We did tastings for 2 years before we finalized on our grape varietals. Even the Chardonnay is aged. It's an aged Chardonnay, not just like ours. Yeah. So I can go on and on, but yeah. So it's also a very focused approach because our guests need to have the best. So that's why we're growing our vegetables, like in Postcard Hotel in Netravali, we're trying to talk to farmers and take over 5 acres. Can we do a hotel where we can grow the entire produce ourselves?
Wow.
Unless it's, impacted by season or whatever. So we kind of think of these, if I may say, moonshot things and then start executing them. I'll give you another example. On the 1st of December this year, one of my very beautiful hotels called the Postcard Hotel will turn into a full-time wellness retreat. That means no longer will you be able to go there for leisure. You will have to check in for 7 nights, 14 nights, or 21 nights.
Like Ananda does.
Yeah, but Ananda also allows leisure. So you can go for 2 nights and 3 nights also. So even in Vana, I think, I don't know after 6 senses, but I think you can go for 2 nights or 3 nights. You can go for 3 nights. So this hotel will not take any reservations below 7 nights. If you can't come for 7 nights, don't come. Yeah, but when you come in, we'll do your blood markers. And after 7 nights, 14 nights, 21 nights, we'll do your blood markers again.
Right.
So my point is, which global chain in India or Indian chain in India did a full-scale wellness company. I think CGH Earth did, but they're more restricted. But I'm talking about
Jindal, with like down different, yeah, different down.
But again, so we said, what if Postcards Hospitality comes in with this wellness? Because we believe that longevity is going to be a different game, and how well you live, more than longevity, how well are you as you live your life? That's going to be very important. So we started playing with that space around already, and it's not extra work. It's not like we're trying to do everything. What are these guys trying to do? Make their own coffee? We will do our own coffee too, because we have a 140-acre coffee state. But again, the idea is not that. The idea is that why can't this be an ecosystem of luxury? And more than luxury, luxury is a very often used word, but really discerning, if I may say so, experiences from wine to tea to coffee to how you live to wellness. And somebody asked me once, what percentage of the holiday market do you want to take? No, I said 100%. Why should you go anywhere else? Okay, and they said, what about everybody else? I said, you have to ask them. You asked me. My idea is that we need to own 100% of the holiday market share. You want to go for wellness? Come to the Postcard. You want to go for wildlife? I'll give you another example. Gir, Ranthambore, Kana, Pench, Javai, Chitwan, Kaziranga with Daranti State. So 7. With another 1 or 2, I'll be the world's largest wildlife hotel company by location.
Wow.
How's that?
Yeah.
No other hotel company operates 7-8 lodges or hotels across 7-8 national parks. So suddenly then you've got a whole stream of people who are totally focused on wildlife. They come in and they say, okay, I'm going to do this sector once and I'm going to do this sector again. So I think it's like you rightly said, it's first principles thinking. It's like we're building it out.
And not only that, you've combined the best of tech entrepreneurship by figuring out acquisition and distribution channels, reinventing the whole consumer brand space. It's kind of like reminding me of LVMH, where Arnold went in a
I'm very happy.
But Arnold went and acquired literally every luxury brand, be it Dior, Louis Vuitton, everything, because he was like, this is the customer I will do after, right? And that's what he went and did.
Yeah.
But so that approach seems very similar, right? Like you want to go and service every need of the customer.
We are thinking customer first and saying, what is a customer looking for? He's looking for wellness. Yeah, that's going to happen. He's looking for the mountains. So in the initial spaces, the Postcard could be in mountains, wildlife reserves, palaces, beachside cities, and tea, coffee, wine resorts. Why? Because the story of the destination is bigger than the story of the hotel. Where, if you open in Florence, the story of Florence is always bigger than your story. So the hotel is just a great part of that story. So our vision was that now it's wellness, now it's also cities, now it's also how do you see city hotels? We're actually city hotel people. We all run city hotels. If you really look at my co-founding teams also. And so we're all city people, and we're trying to build a new brand. So
cities, you want to do 800 square feet.
Has to be. Because 2 reasons. One, Jeff Bezos very rightly says, don't ask me what's going to change. Ask me what's not going to change. People are not going to say, I want smaller rooms. I want rooms where I tip over the suitcase and fall on my bed. People are not going to say that. People are going to say, I need spaces. Yeah. And, the other things that we did, even in our suites, even when we go to Assam, which is 1,100 square feet bungalow suites, is there are no walls.
There are no walls?
There are no walls in the middle of the room to keep the living area separate and the bedroom separate. Because nobody's coming to meet you at the Dharamji State. Yeah. So again, we picked up a lot from, you think about all the earlier hotels that were built with foreign collaborations. Right. Oberoi was Sheraton in Bombay, was Intercontinental in Delhi when it opened. So a lot of these international hotel brands impose their thing. It's in junior suites, 500 square feet, and I put a wall. Yeah. Somebody's coming to meet you, is going to meet you there. Now, who goes to somebody's suite to meet? Come on. Yeah. So why don't you give me a great space? There's no wall in the middle. I'm sorry if I sounded like there's no walls around the suites. So they're totally locked in. But there are no walls in the middle. So because I want you to see 90 square meters or 100,000 square feet, one shot, why not?
After COVID, everyone realized that, space really
massive everything. So I think one is that. The second is a financial reason. The financial reason is that if real estate costs in India are going to keep on going up, then it's going to be very difficult for you to come after 10 years and disrupt me. Yeah, so because
already is, right? I think
it's intergenerational. It's intergenerational. So I'm building intergenerational, and I'm saying your real estate, your CFO will run the numbers, is not working out. So great, so stay out. So we put in a barrier to entry for competition. But the idea was never that. The idea was that what is a comfortable space? So we're not really stuck on it. Means so in wildlife it's even higher. Ranthambore is 1950 square feet. Kana is 1400 square feet. Pench is 1000 square feet. So it's much higher in wildlife. Chitwan is 850 to 1250 square feet. But yeah, there's nothing like 400 square feet. No.
And guessing your retention per customer must be really high because once someone has experienced it, they would want to go and experience it.
So I got a call from a very, very senior banker today, one of the top bankers in this country, and his family went to the most learned agency, and he said, had an absolutely amazing stay. And he says, more than me, Kapil, it's the children. The children said they can't. They want to now see every single Postcard Hotel. And I said, but that's the game. The game is that even today when we get development queries, we signed a beautiful hotel in 21 acres in Kangra Valley. So again, look at the size. You're not signing 1 acre, we signed a hotel in 3 acres. 21 acres in the mountains is huge. And when we're meeting a family, the son and the daughter knew the brand much more than the parents did. Yeah. And that's the whole idea. For a new generation of India, this is the coolest brand to be with because it resonates with the values of experiences that they have. Yeah, the older generation was more about, I think, save, returns, everything. This generation is more about
experience.
Experience. Is it worth it? Do we need to build? Because they've traveled the world.
Yeah.
So the lady, Kriti, had been to Japan 8 times already. Which is amazing. So once you get that level of sensibility, the hotel that's going to come out is absolutely going to be awesome. Yeah, because you understand, you have the same sensibilities. So in a lot of ways, one of the key filters that we have is that do we really like the partners that we're working with? And at some point we feel it's not vibing, we would just say, it's much better, you do your thing. Maybe there's so many people, we'll do our thing. And that's very extremely important for us. But yeah, that's our story. Really.
But at the heart of it all is just genius capital allocation. Because you've got it right on numbers and financials. How?
No, but not really. I think it's too early to say that.
Yeah.
Means because I'm so paranoid that I think sometimes we just maybe risking it a bit too much or whatever. But I think it's just not that. It's basically we had the opportunity in my own head. I was gone for the last 2 years really in my own head that I have to go. I just have to go. Except that the compensation at Oberoi kept on getting better, so it was very difficult to leave. Okay, and in the end it even got hugely better.
Yeah.
So I thought I just won't be able to quit, and you get used to that lifestyle. So I said no, I really have to move, and so I ran different scenarios. Even today when we run scenarios, people say, "What are you? This is so conservative," and we said, play for this, and then everything will be great. Everything will be great. So lower your expectations, really, and play for it. We're still very frugal as a company. We're very frugal when we kind of build. I mean, just to give you an example, every 2 months, a new Postcard Hotel will open and everyone is unique. So the 2 that are going to open in Goa, one is on the Mandovi River with a private jetty, totally built from the ground up. The other one is a 400-year-old estate, totally, completely done up again. So totally,
How
talking.
much do you have in pipeline?
We have 11 open. We are opening 8 more. There'll be 19. And then we have 21 more hotels in different stages of construction, allocation, if they've all signed.
That's very aggressive scale.
Yeah. It's a phenomenal scale.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have to slow down ourselves. And then last minute, you'll get certain things and saying, we built this beautiful gem. Nobody else can run it except you. I got that today morning. So I said, stunning. Okay, so we'll have to see now. And it's ready to go. So sometimes you will get these things. We generally like to build because, in India, we're just not happy with whenever we try to do a conversion too much, really just didn't leave us too happy. And we just taken our bar a bit more higher. So we're saying no much more often than we're saying yes. But again, I think I had the great privilege of spending 2 years trying to work this entire financial model out. And also, if I may say so, like I stated in many podcasts, that 35 VCs said no to EasyDiner. So I thought I'll kind of make a company where if they come to me, I can say, no, really, don't need the capital. Thank you so much. But
you want to really cash rich.
So we wanted to be just making sure. And again, look at what Nitin and Nikhil built with Zerodha. So they were totally bootstrapped. We still did 1 round at Postcard. But I'll give you an example right now. What we are telling people is if you put in 100 rupees at Postcard, it's been 7 years of Postcard right now. The company's been around for 6+ years. But again, when we raise capital. And we've now rolled an internal buyback, which we're rolling out right now. Just looking at the legal parameters of it and offering 5 times of the capital that you invested in 7 years, 5x of that.
That's better than most funds can say.
5x and buying back, not allocating. If I go to the market, it will be even much higher. What we're saying is we're buying it back because Srishti, at one level, and maybe I'm right and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'll change the statement. But again, we've got a feeling that we need to take Postcard totally private. We need to take it private because we want to say no more of it, really. We really want to build truly, absolutely amazing world-class hotels. That would be even more long-term thinking, a bit like what Elon Musk did with X in trying to take it private.
So then you don't want to list
Postcard, I don't think, I in my own head, I don't have a listing plan for Postcard. It has to stay private.
Interesting. Let's talk about that, because we've had a couple of IPOs happen recently. And, I think hotel companies demand a decent premium also, and trading at 35x P or 19x. So, it's a very good bucket to be in.
Yeah, I think because, again, think about it, how many of them who have listed are the real owners and promoters? I think that's the real one part. And do they own the brand? So do they own the brand and they're promoter owners of the brand? One. Two, again, because they've had legacy, so there's an exit that you need to give for legacy. I don't have to go back to my investors with such less capital available with me to say that I can buy 5x, but I know most of them won't sell.
Yeah.
Whoever sells will buy. But I know most of them are not going to sell because they've seen the traction and they think they will get a phenomenal bigger exit, and maybe they will. When the time comes, and we may have to do something on that. Like I said, it's not cast in stone, but I'm just sharing my thinking on how I'm thinking about it right now. So it's not about, and Srishti, let's say I list it and it becomes a multi-unicorn. So what am I going to do with the money? So my point is, what am I going to do with it? Beyond a point, really, yeah. So it's not altruistic at all. I'm a capitalist. But what am I going to do with it? Means buy another hotel, do this, do whatever. I think it'll compromise the building of a global luxury hotel brand. And also the fact that anybody who tried to raise capital in hotels got more greedy. When money comes in, you start making all the wrong choices. When you make wrong choices, the brand goes for a 6, brand gets compromised. So it's about the discipline. It's really about the discipline. And I think keeping it private will allow us to take even more long-term bets. So maybe we think of an IPO after 10 years or maybe 15 years or whatever, when there is a significant value creation that's done. But right now, I always say you got to build in stealth. So I'll give you an example. Till July, nobody even knew that we signed even one hotel. We just went quiet. He just kept on talking about what we're doing in our hotels. And then in one LinkedIn post in July, I said, guys, 7 luxury hotels signed in 7 months. Okay. And think about it. Just in the luxury segment, if you put all the luxury operators together, not the multi-brand guys, just the super luxury brand of theirs, if you put it all together, all of them together were not 7 in it. So if I may say, were there 7 Ritz-Carlton signed? Or were there 7 Oberoi Villas hotels signed?
Yeah.
So if all of them, if you all put together, you would not get to 7. And we signed 7 in 7 months.
And why is the global ambition so important to you?
Because I think we've done a bad job, one, putting India on the global tourist map within India. Yeah. So if you are a foreigner coming to India, what do you come for? Means you've got a Marriott sitting in Dallas also, great hotel there too, yeah. And you've got a Ritz-Carlton sitting there too. And if you're coming to India, you're coming from the palaces. But how many times can you see the palaces? They haven't changed. They've been there. And how many times can you see all the hotels in Rajasthan? So India has phenomenal diversity, whether the coastline of coastal Karnataka may be the most beautiful in the world. The food of coastal Karnataka may be the best in the world. The tea gardens of Assam, the coffee estates of Chikmagalur, the lions of Gir, the leopards of Javai, the tigers of Kana, Pench. So I think so much of it has not been explored. So one, this will let global travelers come in. Two, India is going to be the 3rd largest outbound market in the world. So if Srishti knew that there was a postcard in Paris, okay, which allowed anytime check-in, check-out, anytime breakfast, she identified with the founding team here in India that she could reach out to us, okay, if things were not as expected, then what are the chances of Srishti staying with us or staying in the peninsula? Maybe us. Yeah, because she feels more
comfortable. To your credit, I was looking and going to Masai Mara with my toddler. Yeah, but now that I've done all this research on Postcard, I'm not tempted to anymore.
So I'll give you an example. So I think we had Shashank from Whole Tooth was coming in. He had a baby, I think 4 months old or something, when he's coming to the hotel. I said, you just don't need to worry about it. Our guys will do everything, saying, do you have a bottle? You don't have a bottle? Like, boil the milk, not boil the milk. You have a sterilizer, you don't have a sterilizer.
Because it's painful to travel with toddlers.
It's painful to travel with toddlers. So because we understand that. Yeah. So we would already ask you that many questions, our reservations team. So we would ask you, and today I'll give you a very interesting statistics. Most hotel companies get 10% business directly. Direct means direct to the hotel. We get 70% business direct.
Right.
70%. We even had superstars in this country calling our direct line, and we think it's a prank. And they've proven otherwise. We think it's one of our friends impersonating. Okay, it's not. It's really superstars calling directly.
Right.
We'll say, I really want to book myself. So, and I think we encourage that. So it's great for us to talk to you.
How does that work? You're not on the usual.
No, we are on everything. No, yeah, they will book us. But
then how is it coming directly?
It comes. People just call. The number is everywhere.
Right.
The number is everybody remembers. I can tell you the number.
Of Connect.
Yeah, 799955522. So it's so easy to remember. So it's people call. People just call directly and say, listen, I want to go here. I say, yeah, okay, I'll arrange everything for you. We tell people just land up at the airport, leave the rest to us. We'll take care of it. Just land there. We still don't own an airline.
Well, you've sold on the postcard experience. I am definitely going to experience it. But shifting gears to EazyDiner now. You said 35 VCs said no to you. Because that was also at a time where I think less than 1% of online reservations happened online.
No, it was not at that time actually. So, oh God, this venture industry is another one. So I was trying to raise money. So when I was trying to raise money at that time, the idea came, I went to New York, I saw Open Table, I came back, I was at Oberoi and I said, hey, nobody's making reservations here. And in New York, you just couldn't get a table if you didn't make a reservation. So the idea was very simple. And so we said, let's build it. I think it's bigger for Indian F&B and we can really help. And I have a very, if I may say, a very let's do it attitude. Let's not wait for the...
Clearly, that is like visible in this conversation.
So let's go and build it. And nobody else is going to build it, let's build it. So we said, okay, we're going to go and build it. Yeah. So we started building and the idea came and that's how EasyDiner really started. That time, DSG Consumer Partners and Sama Capital, I knew Ash and Deepak personally, and they said, listen, if you're building, we're writing the first check. And they wrote the check. Easier. But once they wrote I think the Series A check also, now they can't participate because they need other leads to come in. And it just became a bit difficult because people said, founder is not full-time. Founder has no skin in the game. Founder's got a great job. Okay. But it's non-executive.
Yeah.
So, okay, fair enough. Okay. Rightly so. We said, fair enough. Okay, great. Then they said, if you quit, we'll write a check. I can actually, so I can tell you all 35 of them by name. The day I write a book, all 35 of them will get a chapter. They should remember that. They also know who they are. So they said, founder is not full-time. Okay. Then I quit. Then they said, oh, founder's too old. Founder's not an IIT grad. He's running a tech company. So, okay, fine. Then they said, oh, founders again started doing something else called Postcard Hotel. Nobody thought that really how both of them are kind of feeding into each other. What am I really building for? I started 11 years back building for aspirational India. If India is going to be one of the youngest countries in the world and the people are going to seek out experiences, then they will eat out more than they will eat in. Yeah. And I always thought that eating in will never make money until you put in too much capital. I like running profitable businesses because they give me enough skin in the game and I like control. I'm a controlled guy that will control the entire experience. If you want control, then you need to have shared ownership to control. Yeah. Means even today, the promoter group at EasyDiner, and we've done Series B and we are hugely, massively profitable now. This EasyDiner is totally ready for an IPO. We still own 60% of the business together.
Fantastic.
So, we've been very frugal again. We build frugally, we work very hard, we outwork everybody. But again, that's what we do. So our view was that, like, when will you fund us really? And I remember, and like I always say this, and I've said this many times, that if you want to be a great entrepreneur, you need to be brave and you need to be stupid. Both. We both go in equal measure. So I remember when I walked out of my job at Oberoi, we had only 10 crores in our bank account at EasyDiner. It was bleeding, I think, 1.5 crores a month. Postcard had no money.
Months of runway.
So yeah, lesser. And Postcard had no money. It was not raised. It was called Project D. My daughter's name is Drisika, so I call it D. Okay. So Project D, it was a deck. And by that time I had said no. I'd already met Mr. Mistry, the great Cyrus Mistry, absolutely amazing man. And we said, sir, we can only take in minority shareholders. I met another top 3 company in this country and they said, can they own 30%? We said no. And then a very big fund in India, one of India's top funds, PE fund, said they would write $100 million seed, protect my Oberoi salary, plus I will own 20%, which is huge if I wanted to play that game. And I have 100 million at my disposal. And we said no, because we wanted to control what we're building. So that's the stupid part of it. The brave part of this would be at 10 crores, we thought we'll build it.
Yeah.
And then DSG Consumer Partners and an LP called the Denlo Investment Trust. They were LPs in, LPs is limited partners in Tiger Global and DSG. And they just came on a Sunday. I still remember the date was 17th of February they came. And 17th or 19th, 17th, yeah. And they came on a Sunday and they said, we really like what you're doing and we'd like to add a check. And we had no idea. Check means what? So we said, yeah, okay, speak to Deepak and DSG. And Deepak said, are you really, they never written a direct check in India. They love you so much, they want to write it. And they said, can we put, instead of 2, put 4 million? And that 4 million came. And we kind of Shrishti. But after that, we started learning the game. And it was very okay. The VCs were quite nice to us till that time after this. And it was good. B-Next came. Very nice. So we made a good lot. All the friends came in, really. And then our life changed. October 2019, Goldman Sachs came.
Right.
Yeah. And the India head was a gentleman called Niladri, lovely man, loved us. Then his boss was a gentleman called Jonathan Manica, loved us. Then the chairman was a gentleman called Mr. Murata, loved us. We had a great time and whatever. And they said $25 million term sheet. And I thought, Shrishti, I'm done. My entrepreneurial journey is finally done. It means I am successful.
I made it.
It's great. Made it. Got raised capital, came from a corporate job.
Yeah.
Battled, how can a promoter not have skin in the game?
Yeah.
Battled, promoters too old, whatever. Yeah. So battled all that. We're done. Goldman Sachs now. It's a Goldman Sachs company. And then I got a call 15 days later that, they had a merger of 2 divisions. And they could not proceed ahead because the revised management committee would meet in March 2020. And all of us know what happened in March 2020. COVID happened. So by the time I was down to 4 crores, I knew EasyDiner was going down, finished. And if you go to EasyDiner, we did a big award at Mumbai, giving an award to the top 100 restaurants in Mumbai just last Saturday. And I got everybody on the stage and I said, how long have we all worked together? And at EasyDiner, it's 10 years, 12 years, 18 years, 20 years. We've been 20 years together and now we are together at EasyDiner.
Yeah.
So all of us are like, the 3 co-founders at EasyDiner, the 3 co-founders at Postcard. We've been together. And so everybody said that. So we've been around so long. And I was like, in my own head, Shrishti, I used to think, how could I even walk in and say, Shrishti, I know you trusted me, but you know what? It just didn't work out. I made a lot of mistakes. We have to part ways because I'm not able to pay the salary. And it was, we went down to 4 crores. This is December 2019. We were down to 4 crores, still burning 1.5 crores, growing the business.
3 months of runway.
3 months of runway.
What was going on?
So not 3 months of runway. So in December salaries I paid and I was down to 280. So I could do Jan salary 2020. I could not do the Feb salary because when bills and whatever.
Yeah.
And money from restaurants had to come in, which was very slow to come in. So I was maybe I could do Feb, maybe that's it. But yeah, so in December, my current investors, bless all of them, they put in a 10 crore check, and the rest is history. We kind of survived that. And now it's an animal. EasyDiner is an animal company, like I always say. It is growing at 100% year on year.
What a survival story. Because I just used EasyDiner yesterday. I was going to DOS and, on the way there, I realized that we didn't have a reservation and no one wants to deal with that whole thing of, oh, you didn't make a reservation. So now it's just like...
And if you paid on the card, you would save 40%.
Yes.
Yeah, you'd easily save 40%. So we work with 22 banks, 400 credit cards. We own 2 of our own credit cards. It's a totally different game. But again, like I always tell them, your DNA is survival. Everybody tells us, how do you survive between Swiggy and Zomato now coming into dining? I said, the great companies, but this is the DNA of EasyDiner is we will not die. If that is your DNA, that you're not going to die, you will survive. When I tell them, listen, this is still easier because Zomato and Swiggy are just either not profitable or just about getting profitable. I said, look into the hotel space. These guys have been profitable for 25 years. And here we're trying to say, you know what, we're going to build this. And we build it at a higher fees. So I can guarantee you, and we maybe don't need to say it on screen, but our fees for operating the hotel, I'll show you a term sheet and you show me your sheet, and it will be double that of any brand that you would have signed up for as a hospitality family. Double. We charge the highest fees in the country.
Right.
Because we deliver the highest returns in the country.
And owners are okay with that.
Because we deliver the highest return in the country. Think about it, that my blended average would be 10 to 12% of your top line. Overall, it's just blended with management fees, operating fees, whatever. But if my average room rate is 30,000 rupees, you make 27,000 as an owner, give me 3,000. But the other brand is at 10,000 or 11,000, and they may only give you 6% or something. And so you get 9,400. they make 600. So we are saying, let us make 3,000. We'll give you 27,000. So why won't you work
Yeah.
for us?
It's a win-win
Yeah, and
scenario.
it's on the thing when
Yeah.
owners come in, we show them. We say, see it, just go and see it.
And just quickly on the turnaround story for EazyDiner, because turnarounds don't just happen overnight, right? You must have gone back and fixed something in the model. What was broken?
No, I think nothing was broken really. I think COVID allowed people. So we always wanted to start bills on the app really, but COVID allowed people really to get used to paying on the app. Until that time, we hadn't done that really, and I think that was a seminal moment because then, so EasyDiner is a beautiful example of consumer tech and fintech coming together.
Right.
Because think about it, if you're a credit card customer, the highest expense that actually happens on discretionary income is travel and eating out, right? And now a lot of people travel a lot, like people like you and me travel a lot, but everybody doesn't travel on a flight every week.
Yeah.
So if that's not happening, then what do you miss? Still eat out every week. So and an average check on EasyDiner is around 4,200 rupees. So it's an absolutely amazing target customer to keep on the credit card network. And that is why better offers. Then I always say that if you put Zomato, Swiggy, Amazon, Flipkart, and choose Myntra or anybody else together, our banking offers will be more powerful than them. Not because we are better than them. No, these are great companies. The fact that is we have the affluent customer.
Right.
So that customer at 4,200 rupees is a better bet for a credit card company than to service a 300.
You're getting then the premium users.
Yeah, so always. So we're building for that. And again, a lot of people didn't realize that actually I'm building for aspirational India.
Was it thought through in the model, or is it something that happened back?
It was very clear that I have to build for aspirational India. So I remember Goldman Sachs wrote a report like 2 years back, and Rajan Anandan from Peak 15 down earlier at Google sent it to me saying, looks like you written the report. Okay, for yourselves. Because it said the two categories which will grow the fastest are hospitality and dining out. So, and we were in both the spaces. But for many years, and that is what I call the power of conviction, and that's why you need to love what you do. Because there'll be many dark nights. Means I've had so many dark nights. And to see you through that, you need to be totally convinced about what you're building. Because everybody will say no, everybody will say you're crazy, everybody will say you're stupid. You just got to keep on building. And if you build it with the right rigor, and like again, I keep on quoting these guys because I read so much about these guys. But Jeff Bezos says that at one point, if it was not Amazon, it would be called Relentless.
Right. So he still has the domain.
He still has a domain name of relentless.com. So you just got to be relentless. And nobody can survive if you're relentless. So I know Zomato calls themselves eternal. We call ourselves relentless if we ever become a group company. Yeah.
Amazing. I love that. But how have you gone on to build two powerhouses? Was that the whole plan when you started out?
No. So I sometimes even get surprised with EasyDiner myself.
Yeah.
So I remember I was at the Warsaw lounge. Yeah. I was flying LOT, and there was another gentleman. So there were only two Indians in the lounge. And we were looking at each other. It was a 5-hour layover. So we started talking. And he said, so what do you do? I said, I run the Postcard Hotel and I run EasyDiner. He's saying, sir, I am your biggest user. I said, really? He's saying, yeah. He's like, open your phone. I said, I opened it. He's saying, show me your history on dining. So I opened my phone and he showed me his history on dining. He was eating out every second day. So I said, wow. I said, you're really a puppy. He's saying, I love it. It's an absolutely amazing app. I never thought it would go there. I always thought we really good. But I think the first time we did 1 lakh diners in a day on a weekday, my God, really? Because I still remember the first month we opened, we did April, I think 2014 or 15, I don't know. We did 358 diners, 2014.
Okay.
So 10 diners a day.
Right.
Yeah. And now when you do 1 lakh diners, means did I see it going to 1 lakh diners a day? No, I didn't. Do I see it going to 1 million diners a day? Yes.
So, I want to ask you two questions here. One about your darkest moments. What beliefs do you lean on to be able to navigate those?
So it's very dark when it gets really dark. So when nobody was giving us money, so the first 7-8 pitches were very personal, So because the first 7-8 pitches I took it very personally, like Godfather. There's a dialogue. Everything in life is personal.
Yeah.
Yes, I took it very personally. I took it very hard. After the 8th pitch, it kind of became okay. Means I remember in one VC told us that I didn't even say no, and we said, "Oh, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure meeting you. Let's go." Okay, friends. She said, I didn't even say no. I said, no, but the question you were saying you would say, but she says, no, but I really want to think about it. I said, okay, think about it. If you think it's yes, call us. We'll come. Okay, but we weren't. It was like clinical, like a surgeon going into an operation theater. Yeah, I'll try my best. the outcome's not in my hands. So it was after the 8th pitch, I think it became clinical. I think somewhere after the 15th pitch or something, we were only thinking of what we were going to eat after the pitch. Okay, because we live to eat. We're really passionate about food. So we said, yeah, okay, it didn't even matter. I think to all the credit to all those ladies and gentlemen, it was also very tough times. Everybody was just coming out of COVID.
Yeah.
You know, I also had a top tier VC 1 tier fund guy telling me, I don't think people are going to eat out. So we looked at the guy and we said, so what you're telling us is that people will sit at home, watch Netflix, and live their entire lives on that bed. He's saying, yeah, I think consumer behavior has changed. I said, okay, but how do you convince a guy like that? I said, okay, then great, man. That's a great theory you need to have. Bless your Elvis. Yeah, that's all we can say.
I wonder how his portfolio is doing now.
I don't know. We'll talk about it when I write the book.
Yeah. But
That's the time I'll name all of them.
that actually brings me to my second question about these consumer insights, because you've clearly seen this inflection point in consumer behavior, right? If anyone, you have the best pulse on consumer behavior shifting. Both.
No, not really. No.
Yeah, but you're very privy to the behavior.
Only on, I think, food and beverage and everything.
Yeah.
I could never think that cosmetic IPOs or products will do so well.
Yeah.
I had no idea. It's not a product I use. So I had absolutely no idea. I kind of missed that entire thing. If anybody came to me and said, we're going to build this, I said, no, it's not going to work. Okay, but look at how well it's worked. Look at some of the best exits in direct to consumer, whether it's
Mama,
yeah, everywhere it's been there.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that space at all, really. So that part of the world I don't know. I think I have a fair idea about food and beverage. I have a fair idea about hospitality. I have a fair idea about travel. I have a fair idea about how people think about holidays and what are the white spaces that can still be built in these spaces, really. So kind of when even I'm writing a check, I'm writing very few because, it's just so time consuming. I mean, it's just to get involved. It's difficult right now.
Yeah.
But if I'm writing in the spaces I love, really, and without worrying about the outcome, whether it's going to work or not.
Wait, what are the biggest inflection points you've seen in these areas from a consumer lens?
So I think from a consumer lens perspective, I think as income goes up, people get more discretionary. Yeah, think about it. That go back 5 years back. I remember getting on a call with Deepak 5 years back and saying, Deepak, you know what? We should invest in a great organic food company. Yeah. Imagine 5 years back. Imagine 10 years back, I came to you and said, Shrishti, why don't you buy an air purifier? You would say, are you cuckoo? Why will I buy an air purifier? Yeah. But today, there's nobody in India without an air purifier at home, especially in Delhi. Yeah. So similarly, 5 years back, organic was not such a big thing. But now there are categories and categories and categories of organic. I still think somebody could build the best brand in organic. Even today, I don't think it's still being built really. So I think as incomes go up, consumers get more particular, they get more discretionary. And as they get discretionary, products which are in a niche will always do well. So when an economy becomes very aspirational, that also leads to income inequality. So when that happens, you need to build for two sets of the market. That's what I believe. You either need to build for the top tier, totally top tier, okay, or you build for the totally bottom tier. So that's what you do. You don't build anything in the middle because that's very middling, and then you are, you are at somebody's mercy, whether it's a venture fund, whether it's an aggregator, whether it's a distributor. But if you build these two, you can build it on your own.
That's a great insight, actually. And you build for the top tier, but build everything that they might need.
Yeah, exactly. So you build either, So I think Oyo is a great place to build. You fix the experience, you get it right, and 995 rupees a room.
Yeah.
My God, you can build 2 million rooms.
Very interesting. And then when you think of some of these, if you think about Airbnb, for example, which is reimagined travel for a lot of younger consumers, right? So what do you think of them as competition?
Airbnb is aspirational. Airbnb is living in the destination, soaking in the destination. Postcards are super luxe version of that. Because think about it, that in the last I read, I don't know, Shrishti, I haven't looked at the latest numbers for the last couple of years for Airbnb. But last I saw, 90% of the revenues actually came from Europe and Americas. Yeah, and only 10% or 20% from Asia. Because in India, let's look at India. Let's say you're going with your toddler. What are your key needs? Hygiene? It's not guaranteed in India. Yeah, because intrinsically, the ecosystem does not help you get hygienic. Yeah, the roads and whatever. Not guaranteed in India. Electric supply, what if the line goes for 4 hours? Who are you going to call? The host? Okay, so you won't take a risk with your toddler in India. But when you go to Europe, you will go and stay in an Airbnb. Because hygiene, not an issue, intrinsically clean. Okay. 2, electricity is not an issue.
Well, I've had experiences otherwise.
Yes, yeah, but look, think about it. But still, you compare India, go to Goa, try an Airbnb. Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
But I think you need to be making a trade-off there.
Yeah.
3, water, clean, not clean. When was the last time it was cleaned? 4, basic things like I'll give you an example, and very few hotels, even in India, do that. But after a guest checkout, we would take our pillows into a dryer and ensure they're totally sanitized. Because who stepped on the pillow last night? Yeah, think about that. Nobody thinks about that. But in Airbnb, even that is not guaranteed. Or some hosts would do it, maybe most of them won't. So I think very difficult for an affluent traveler to move to Airbnb.
Yeah.
And I got to cook eggs myself, and always in India, you're used to so much help.
Yeah.
So why would you do that? So, here Postcard's taking care of everything. In fact, I think the biggest competition that we have is actually second homes. And we're saying, why the hell are you buying a second home? Every one of my friends say, yeah, you see something nice in Goa, get it for me. I said, but why? Why would you want to be only stuck to Goa? Why would you put in 10 crores, 20 crores into Goa? And I tell all of them, so that's a very big market for us, by the way, Srishti. A lot of people come and say, I've got 100 crores. I want to do a great hotel. With that, with all our owners, we give them what we call a lifestyle package. So go. Don't keep on going to Goa. Go to Postcard Hotel Agency, go to Postcard Golf, go to Postcard Deva Bhutan, go to Leh, go to Assam.
Yeah. So that's what I was wondering through COVID, because everyone was buying Goa homes.
Yeah.
And I was like, why would you want to go?
Also empty.
Yeah.
Badly maintained.
Yeah.
The one call I get is, can I buy in Goa? The second call I get is, do you have any maintenance person in Goa? Yeah. The 2 calls I get. I'm like,
the managers are happy.
So I think the second home game is a totally wrong game. And I think that's a very good real estate game of milking people again for money. But I think the second home game only works. And it works. It works if you want to go and stay at a destination for minimum 3 months. You buy a second home in Nainital, or you buy a second home in Goa, or you buy a second home in the Nilgiris. And if you're going to go and stay there for 3 months, then please buy it. It makes total sense. But if you're going to go there for 3 nights or 7 nights in a year, then you're being totally ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then deliberately doing paperwork to give it to aggregators who are selling it under different names and risking your property, and then following up if manpower is there or not, or if manpower has become expensive, and actually degrading your property.
And always dealing with other issues that keep cropping up.
I mean, what's the point?
Yeah.
Means I don't understand. Why don't you want to keep yourself free?
Yeah.
Means I would not like to buy a second home. I'd just love it to be everywhere.
Yeah. Absolutely, I agree. I'm on the same page. You were shifting gears to now stock markets, because you mentioned that you've been following stock markets in school.
Yeah.
First, let's talk about your journey there, and would love to know about your personal investing philosophy.
So it's not very successful, but I hate. So it started, I used to stay in Delhi, and in those days, so if I would go to the market, my mother would say, if you go to the market, just go to our grocer and get 2 packets of Maggi, 1 ketchup, 1 this, whatever.
Yeah.
So I say, yeah, okay. So when you're coming back after playing in the park, you used to play in the park. So I'd play in the park, I would go to the grocer and I'd say, give me all this and put it in the chit. And then every month, it's all settled. Like how it used to be in Delhi. Yeah. And my grocer became a stockbroker. So I was a young king. It was a young kid going to a grocer and saying, uncle, can I get 2 Maggies, 1 ketchup, 1 this?
And 1 ITC.
And no, the uncle was selling forms of IPOs. You remember those days, there used to be forms of IPOs?
No.
So forms of IPOs. And so everybody, and all the old guys who were over 55, 60 that time, standing there and chatting about, ye IPO bhar dena chahiye. We will make a lot of return on this IPO. So that's how I started investing. And the first IPO, I think I was still in school or maybe just out of school, I put money into was SBI.
Wow.
And I filled up 3 forms. 1 for me, 1 for my father, 1 for my mother. And we got an allotment in all. And we got a 5,000 rupee premium in all. So I sold all of them. So I made 15,000 rupees when the starting salaries when I became a management trainee at Oberoi was 4,000. And that would also happen 3 years later.
Hey.
So even 3 years before that, I made 15,000 rupees on 1 issue. Okay. So
You were hooked.
Direct general hooked. Like a gambler. Like this is okay. Then I chose then some wrong steps. And then Morgan Stanley Mutual Fund came. And Morgan Stanley mutual funds unit were going at 50 rupees or 60 rupees. That was the biggest thing of how can a mutual fund? And everybody said it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
But India was so speculation oriented. So it was such a nice thing. So I got hooked. And then I started reading and studying. And I don't know, Srishti, I never made too much money, but I learned so much because I was always and kind of helped me. I still remember my final interview at Oberoi. And that was 7 people, Mr. Oberoi. Many years later, I would sit with Mr. Oberoi as we select people for Oberoi Center. And he said, so what are your hobbies? I said, so imagine I'm like 20 years old. And I say, stock markets. He's saying, really? He's saying, wow. So tell me, what do you think about our stock? I said, it's a blue chip. He's saying, so what is a blue chip? Okay, so as a 20-year-old, I could explain them that look at SAIL and Tata Steel. Tata Steel is a blue chip and SAIL is not a blue chip.
Yeah.
And they just went quiet and they kept on looking. I knew I was in. I knew I was in because I could describe balance sheets and finances. And many years later, it would help me when I would structure my own businesses. And this is how it's got to be.
Yeah.
But I started reading that and whatever. So I did a lot of that. And yeah, and that kind of became the whole thing. And then all the friends came from this place. I remember we were at the Bombay Club having a drink with a fellow hotelier. And I'd seen Andrew Holland with Udyan Mukherjee in 2008 predicting the crash. And Udyan said, and how much, Andrew, if the market falls, how much do you think it's going to fall by? And Andrew said 40%. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And Udyan laughed. And he says, oh, really? Because it was a peak.
Yeah.
It's hitting the peak. And saying, what is this guy saying? And that kind of stuck with me. So I see him 10 years later in 2018 in the Bombay Club. And I said, and he's married to a very good friend of mine, Solon Holland, who was earlier at Oberoi. Now she's a master of wine. And Solon said, Kapil, also good to see you. And I said, you know, Sono, I'm a fan of Andrew. And I told him this entire story. He says, Kapil, can you meet me every day, man? You made me feel so great. I can't tell you. He says, nobody's ever told me this. I said, I'm telling you, I've been following you since 2008. Everything you said.
Did you sell all your holdings back in 2008 when you heard this?
No, I think I would have lost money or whatever. No, I didn't sell it that time. I just heard him. I didn't believe it.
Right.
And when it happened, then I said, okay, wow, what really happened? But it also taught me a very important lesson that businesses are cyclical. You have to be very careful about the price you buy at. And actually, you know, if you really look at Six Senses, the problem started with the 2008 financial crisis because they're over leveraged on Sonema K. That's my understanding. Maybe I'm wrong. And that leverage cost them everything. So leverage can kill a business.
Yes.
Leela Hotels closer to home and the Brookfield acquisition is a clear case in point. Leverage killed the business. The hotels are absolutely amazing. Captain Nair was one of the most brilliant hotels of
some of the most beautiful hotels, but yeah, over leveraged.
But I think it's also a case in time. If he could get the average room rates that the Leela Daddy is getting right now, then it would have never happened.
Yes.
Yeah. And that is why. So you just got to be very, very careful, I think, on leverage. So I learned that lesson pretty early. And then I kept on reading because I read a lot, even today. So I kept on reading. I'm very curious by nature. So just my thinking kept on getting evolved.
You know, Kapil, we spoke about your love for stock markets, but what is very interesting to me is how much wealth you've created for your stakeholders, right? And that's the Jeff Bezos story we were just discussing.
Yeah.
Because that's what he measures his success on,
Yeah.
you know, that's the guiding principle he has. How have you thought about it?
So actually, I don't think we've really created too much till now, but very deeply passionate about that wealth has to be decentralized. That India really needs many more people to get it. So very controversial decision, but we said that an EasyDiner, every driver, every office boy, everybody in the company will have shares, all the way up to the CEO. So everybody has stock. And we've already done 2 payouts of that stock. But again, we learned it from the startup world. Are we the first guys? No. Infosys, again, taught us this. I think so many startups have taught us this. So we just learn. I always say we are a phenomenal learning machine. We learn the best of everybody and just implement it in our way.
Okay.
So I think we did that. At Postcard also, 9% of the company is owned by stock, is owned by all the managers. But in Postcard, we start assistant manager onwards. Because hotels, we believe one day Postcard will have maybe 50,000 employees, so it'll be very difficult to administer it. EasyDiner will be, as a tech company, will be always much smaller, maybe still have a higher turnover because tech, you can scale much faster, but Postcard, yeah. So we thought, yeah, it is, but nothing stops us from getting it down from assistant manager, team leaders, and then even to assistants. We have very high cliffs, if I may say. At EasyDiner, to become a shareholder, you get stock every year, but you can't cash till you are in for 4 years.
Right.
Because it's ownership, no? Like you get stock, somebody works for a year, they cash out the stock. That's not ownership. Again, wrong behavior.
Yeah.
We are incentivizing the wrong behavior there. So to incentivize the right behavior, the driver also has to work for 4 years. After that, he cashes out. And whenever there's I always do it on a public group that, guys, you're starting discussions. It'll happen by this date. So, you know, I believe in what I call brutal transparency. And the word is brutal.
Right.
Everything is transparent, bad, good, whatever. It's on a group. See it, read it. Yeah, okay, we're getting the money. I remember the first time we did it because most of the guys in our companies came from hospitality. People thought we were going to make paper planes out of the certificate and they should have fly.
They mustn't have
Nobody else.
this concept.
And the time I said, okay, guys, the first tranche of money is my bank in EasyDiner. We'll distribute it tomorrow. EasyDiner HR and finance had a mob. Okay, and everybody started questioning, how come he has more shares than me? I said, but you signed up for this. Okay, nobody even negotiated it right now. So, and then a mob. So we had to do 15 minutes appointments till pretty much 11 p.m. in the night, saying, please, 1% every 15 minutes. Okay, guys. Okay, that's how we're going to do it. So, but I think one of the big things that it did for us in addition to create wealth is our attrition for people who worked with us for over 4 years is 3%. Very much nobody leaves. Kind of stay together.
That's extremely impressive because like otherwise it's like, this younger generation doesn't hold on to jobs.
And the other thing is because they stay on, they're a part of a larger ecosystem. We take bigger risks with our people. I did a very controversial post where I said, well, if you're a general manager and if you're over 35, then we were looking for a GM and the postcard, they went, Bhutan, please don't apply. Okay. And everybody's like, what, how can you say that? And whatever. It was not a comment. My point was that you should have skilled yourself to a new level the moment you cross 35.
Right.
But I got a lot of flack on it, but that's okay.
Part of the game.
Part of the game. But again, so our point is, I believe in hospitality. People are not skilling themselves. And I think that's going to be a big danger. Although they're safe in this AI age because in AI, everybody else lose their jobs. But the hospitality guys will still keep it.
Yeah.
Okay, I still think so. But I still think one of the reasons why people are not choosing hospitality as a career option. So today when Postcard and EasyDiner go to a campus for a recruitment, and Postcard is so cool as a brand even for employees, lesser people appear for Postcard and more people appear for EasyDiner because I don't think in hospitality we've done a great job. One, in sharing wealth. Two, in regulating hours of work. Three, in ensuring that they have a great career. Four, in ensuring that we invest in their learning and development.
So you're very crystal clear on where you need to improve, right?
Yeah.
But I also want to lean on your personal investing philosophy. With this love for share markets and numbers, how does your capital allocation work in real life, in your personal life?
I have had every single wealth manager come and see me because they think I'm very super rich.
So that's why I'm chasing you.
Everybody's like, okay, guys, you've done so much research. At least read how many shares I've sold. I've hardly ever sold anything. I said, so think about it. I don't have the salary at Oberoi. Okay, I am a founder. For so many years, I've just struggled just to kind of get it there. Now it's got there and I haven't sold. So on paper, I'm a phenomenally rich guy. Okay, but if I haven't sold anything, then how much wealth will I have to do this? And anytime that I have a piece of wealth. So, again, it's like, think about wine. I'll come back to wine for a second. Yeah. So we're just acquiring 17.2 acres over a vineyard in Nashik. Because we believe that people will again bring these wedding hotels in Nashik, which we don't have a problem with. But we believe people won't come for wedding hotels in Nashik if they have to travel to India for the wine journey. Yeah. How do we do a really serious wine hotel in Nashik? Like serious stuff. You love wine, so you're there. Like you build a community of wine enthusiasts. Yeah. Does India have a market for it? Yes. Rajeev Samar's done all the hard work on it for 25 years. Yeah. So I think, so we're doing that. So all the money that I said, let's go and buy this. Now, again, I won't buy 4 acres. We bought 17.2 acres. So I think, from an allocation perspective, it kind of gravitated towards real estate, not because I wanted to do, but on hotels really, not on homes or whatever.
Right.
And I think on stock markets, I still continue to invest. I think I kind of understand the markets. So at hospitality, I can sell out of the money calls or whatever and all. I think in 12 months, I've been only maybe stopped out once. So all of them have kind of made money. So I kind of know how it is. I think it's cyclical. I think hotel stocks are trading at a premium because replacement values are very high. That's why they always, in India, they trade at a premium. But I also think the overall upside is limited. Yeah. Because if you really have to get into hotel stocks, you should have got in when COVID happened. Really. Yeah. The best time to get in, really. Yeah. And you should have exited by now. That's what I had done, and wrongly or rightly, but there is a target price I set to myself. I'll give an example. I exited Chalet at 650. It's, I think, 950. Great. But my grocer, the same gentleman who got me into the market, taught me a rule very early in life. When he said, if you're the only guy making money in the market, then how will the market work? Yeah. I made money. I think I bought Chalet at 140, 160. I made it all the way to 650. Great. Let somebody make it from 650 to 950. I thought it was done. I think still they're doing a great job again. I may re-enter. So, for example, for Sami Hotels, I entered, sold, then I entered again because I think their balance sheet is hugely deleveraged now. You think so? It's a call I take on that, but I play. It's a beautiful.
Mostly hospitality stock.
No. I'm very bullish on financials even today.
Right.
No, it's totally so. When I look at it as an investor, the only reason I'm not putting in money into hospitality stocks today because I think the upside is limited. I think the best is behind. I think you are at 8 out of 10 of the cycle. The cycle will go up till 10.
Yeah.
Okay, and there are still some great opportunities, because, and it's financial numerical logic. Please think about it. Look at Schloss Bangalore, which just listed. Yeah, Leela Hotels. Last year, I think they had a PAT of 49 crores or something. Yeah, because the debt was so high. Yeah, now the debt is retired with the IPO, most of it. Yeah, so this year they will end up at maybe 400 crores, maybe. Yeah, maybe 350. I don't know. Yeah. So point is, if they go 8-9 times on profits, very few people will analyze it. CNBC or anybody will write the headlines, 1000% growth in net profit or whatever. That's the time to sell. Yeah. So I don't know. So maybe you can write that part of that wave or whatever. I mean, but this is just, I generally don't get the time to do this. So I'll always take calls where I can hold on for a year or whatever. Or maybe.
So you're not a long-term investor.
So I'm a long-term investor in hospitality. I have held on so many of them.
But even broadly in the markets, not just.
No, I am. No. Totally long-term actually.
Okay.
Because hospitality, I understand so well. I understand seasonality. So all hotel stock prices will start running up right now because October's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so I know the cycle, so I can really profit from the cycles very, very well. And because nobody should doubt it, I actually send it to Karan at Ambit, who's a hotel analyst. These are my picks. Okay. So he can counter it. So one day I can go into public and say, okay, Karan, can you share my 3-year investing journey on this part? So and it's also for me to understand how markets are looking at hotels. So that's just the hotel part of it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, the maximum money I've made in stocks is Linde, just before COVID, more multi-run precision wires, it's so many of them really.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with hotels or anything. In financials, I think I was early in Axis Bank, I was early in ICICI, way early. I kept on looking at ICICI Bank's metrics and I thought they were amazing. So I was way, way early in these stocks, like really early. So yeah, so those ones are long term and they're still in the portfolio really. I don't have so too much of it. But sometimes, you make a lot of mistakes too.
I'm sure. Any mistakes you want to talk about?
So earlier on, I remember I would take a F&O position just before a meeting.
So you were an F&O guy?
But I've never lost money in F&O. I will take a very small player where I not bet my house on it.
Yeah.
Because, but again, so I'd F&O just because if I knew this leverage is going to play out. So even today when I write out of the money calls is all F&O because I'm writing like this stock's not going to go to 900. Like making the money home. So, but again, when I did F&O, I would always do it before an event. And a couple of times the events went away. So that kind of taught me discipline that before an event, no matter how well you think this event's going to play out, just be out. Just be out. Right. So there are so many days where I would not even check my portfolio for 10 days. Not because I don't want to, because I don't have the time. Just that. I hardly get time to watch anything now.
Well, I'm glad you still watch the India Opportunity show.
Yeah, because you got everybody that I listen to, whether it's Manish Chokhani, whether it's Ramesh Damani, you got everybody that I listen to. You got Mr. Aluwalia, you got everybody there. Means how would I not listen? It's a totally different. These guys are legends, really. You can only learn.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much to learn from people like you and them.
No,
I think you've also accomplished so much. And thank you for spending this evening here with me today. I think, I think this conversation could have gone for another 2-3 hours. We have so many shared topics of love. But, I think we'll keep it for another time. But this was fantastic. I'm so glad that we got to see the mind behind Postcard Hotels, EasyDiner.
And don't believe us, like I say, we are absolutely amazing salespeople. Till you come and say the Postcard Hotel, don't believe us at all. Is it really that good? My daughter forwarded me a link on Reddit which said, what is the hype about Postcard Hotels? On Reddit, which is like a slightly anonymous community, which is great actually. So don't buy into the hype. Please come and stay.
I will for sure check it out.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Shrishti. Thank you so much.
It's not every day that you get to sit across from your icon and ask them all the questions that you wanted answers to. And that was the day for me today. If you enjoyed watching this episode, please remember to subscribe to our channel so that you get notifications every time we drop another one.